Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. I notice there's a few people still dialing in, so I'll do another introduction. Welcome to the Ramsay Healthcare 2022 virtual opening evening. My name is Liz Oll. I am the National Fellowship Coordinator and also based here in Queensland as the Learning and Workforce Programs Coordinator. I would like to welcome you all to this very special event for us. We love to host this event annually to introduce you to Ramsay Healthcare, the biggest private healthcare provider in Australia, and all the opportunities that we have within our organisation for you as a new healthcare clinician. On that note, congratulations on coming to the end or wherever you may be in your studies and choosing healthcare as a long-term professional area of work. It's a very rewarding job and a rewarding company to work for. We do in Ramsay Healthcare. I'm joined by a lot of wonderful people on the line, which I'll introduce shortly, who will help you understand our organisation so much better and hopefully entice you to think, you know, that's where I want to work and want to be long term with my career going forward. Before I go any further though, I would really like to introduce Hannah Chilton, our Victoria Coordinator, to do our acknowledgement to country. Thank you, Hannah.
Thanks, Liz. Welcome, everybody. In the spirit of reconciliation, Ramsay Healthcare acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. I really appreciate you taking the time to acknowledge there. We have a lot of our panellists highlighted above depending on what device you have. I'll do a quick introduction for you. Each of our states has a dedicated graduate or fellowship coordinator, and some of our disciplines also have dedicated managers in their roles as well. So as I mentioned, I'm here from Queensland. We have Hannah, who just did the acknowledgement to country, who is from Victoria, and is joined by Carolyn also in Victoria. Thanks for coming. We have Kim Lally, who is our New South Wales Fellowship Coordinator. Thank you, Kim, for joining along as well. And she will be joined later in the breakout room by Shay Sandry, who is our National Student Coordinator. In WA and South Australia, we also have Julie Jackson. Thanks for joining us today, Julie. In particular, here to support our pharmacy interns, we have Alicia Simpson and Ella. Thank you for being here also. And for the allied health graduates and students that are online tonight, we have Alan Chan and Ben from John Flynn, but can answer any questions that you might have nationally. We've also got our Chief Executive Officer, Carmel Monaghan, and also our Chief Nurse, Dr. Bernadette Ether, online as well, who are going to talk about our organisation, so I welcome them as well. Just a little bit of housekeeping, that the initial session tonight in this main room is based as a webinar. So you won't have the ability to turn on your cameras or videos and speak in this one, but we really want you to utilise the Q&A function, which most of you, depending on your device, will find it down the bottom. The Q&A will allow us and all of you as participants to be able to see the questions being asked. Some of those answers will be done either live or our panellists will type the answers to you as we go along. The chat bar is a good function, but it goes very quickly. So if you have specific questions, we really ask you to put them in the Q&A, not the chat bar, because we may miss them. We are recording tonight's session also, so if you want to check back on any information provided or you know of other potential graduates or interns that might also be interested in hearing more about our organisation, we will distribute this as a link to everyone that's come on tonight through your registration post the session. So that's an opportunity for you to be able to go back and share the love about our organisation as well. So we are going to go through a few different things tonight. We're going to start off just hearing a bit more about Ramsay Healthcare, who we are, why choose Ramsay Healthcare as a potential employment facility. Why would you want to work for Ramsay long term? And you know, most of these people up in the panelists can join me in saying that we're very long term employees and love what we do, and really love supporting new graduates, and hope you want to choose that as well for your career. We're also going to go into the specifics of our program, what to expect if you become an intern or a graduate on our fellowship program within Ramsay Healthcare. And then we're going to talk to you about the application process and what to expect, how to prepare for applying, the timelines of when you are finishing your degrees or diplomas, and how that relates to our specific intakes. So we're going to try and tick off a lot of boxes and questions that you may have, but again, use the Q&A function should you need to throughout tonight's session, and we'll answer them. Once we've gone through all of that, we would really like to invite you to specific breakout rooms that are either state-based, if you are a nursing or midwifery student, or we have a specific breakout room for allied health and also for pharmacy interns as well. So those rooms are designed to just be a little bit more intimate, if you'd like, in terms of you'll be able to turn on your cameras, your videos and your microphone and be able to ask us specific questions, and we'll give you more specific information relating to either your discipline or the state that you're based in. So that's the session, how it will run this evening. We aim to be finished in 45 minutes or up to an hour. So we acknowledge and appreciate that it is later in the evening in most states and that you're taking time out of your evening to join us. So we really appreciate that. So without further ado, I would like to now introduce again Carmel Monaghan, our Chief Executive Officer of Ramsay Healthcare Australia, and our Chief Nurse for Ramsay Healthcare, Dr. Bernadette Ether. We welcome you tonight, ladies, all the way from Western Australia, and really love that you can join us. Thank you for your time, and I'll throw over to you to tell us a bit more about the wonderful organisation we work for. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Liz. Can you hear us okay? Just checking, good, okay. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I can see there's about 270 of you online, so that's fabulous, and it's really great to be talking with you this evening. I'm sure you're very much looking forward to getting into the breakout rooms and asking your questions, so we'll keep it brief for you, but try and give you some sense of Ramsay Healthcare. As Liz said, I'm sitting here with Bernie, who's our Chief Nurse, and we're both at Joondalup Hospital this evening. So we have we've been here all day talking with nurses and staff and getting around the hospital, and we're off to Hollywood tomorrow. So we've got two big private hospitals in WA, which we're really proud of and are fantastic. For me, I've been with Ramsay for 24 years and started like you as a young person in a hospital in Brisbane, Greenslopes Hospital, and it's been a great company, really great company to work for. And, you know, I've had a great career with Ramsay Healthcare. And one of the things about this company that I love is that we promote internally, and we build the people, and we invest in our people, and we've got a really great culture of doing that. So it's been a wonderful company to work for in my 24-year career. And so now I'm CEO, and I think, you know, everyone has the opportunity to come up the ranks and grow their, you know, grow with Ramsay Healthcare. I'm going to talk quickly about the company and, you know, what our Australian and global footprint is, and then hand over to Bernie to talk about, you know, careers with Ramsay and how we look at professional development and things like that. In Australia, most of you would have perhaps looked at the website. We have 70 odd hospitals around the country. We are the largest private hospital group in Australia, and we do we have a range of services from, you know, mental health, rehab, surgical, midwifery, and so we offer a whole range of services. We are the biggest provider of cancer services, of joint replacement, of, you know, surgery. In the private sector, we are a fairly large organisation undertaking a whole range of services, and that makes us truly unique as a company to work for. Across the world, Ramsay is also the largest hospital provider in France. We have a large footprint in Scandinavia, and we're about the third largest private hospital operator in the UK. And we've recently bought a large mental health division over there as well. So we have a big footprint of hospitals, lots of opportunities to grow with us, lots of education opportunities, leadership opportunities, and, you know, opportunities to exchange into those other organisations and right across the world and Australia. So it's a really fantastic organisation to be with. Culture-wise, you know, Ramsay was founded by Paul Ramsay, who was a lovely gentleman who ran the company from 1964 until 2014, so 50 years of, you know, through his life, he built this company from the ground up in Sydney. And his legacy continues. He is as the founder of the company, his legacy around people caring for people has permeated right through the organisation and continues today. So we have a lovely culture, a fantastic culture that we really look after and maintain. And so that's been something that makes Ramsay quite unique in terms of private hospital and hospital operators. We really care about our people, and our philosophy of people caring for people is a big part of how we operate this business. Just finally, before I hand over to Bernie, one of our big focuses over the last few years has been on sustainability. And so we've spent a lot of time working on our sustainability strategy. We have a number of initiatives going on. We're putting solar right across our hospitals, so we'll have, we reduce our electricity emissions. We have a lot going on in waste removal. Hospitals are big waste producers, and so we have a 50 million plastics reduction plan across the company, and we're doing really well against that target this year. And so there's a lot of initiatives going on to look after the planet. Our Ramsay Cares initiative is about caring for planet, caring for people, and caring for communities. And so there's a range of work going on and green teams across the business that are looking at how we improve our footprint and ensure that we're delivering care sustainably right across the country and right across the world. And that goes to anaesthetic gases and a whole range of things. So we've got some really great initiatives in the sustainability area, and lots of opportunities for staff to get involved in that as well. I'll hand over to Bernie to talk about career progression and programs in Ramsay.
Thanks, Carmel. Thank you, everyone. I'll echo Liz's comment. Congratulations for those of you that are just about to finish. I cannot imagine having studied university through COVID and all of the great social opportunities you get in your uni group being missed out on, as I know a lot of you will be online. So I'm sorry you're back online with us tonight, but a great chance for us to introduce Ramsay to you and what the opportunities are. So I'm the chief nurse. I'll talk a little bit about some nursing programs, but these clearly apply around allied health and our pharmacy service. So we're really keen as new graduates that you get a really good foundation. We want you to have a great experience. So we offer that support, supervision, preceptorship when you start on clinical placement. We really consider your first year as a foundation year, so just reinforcing everything you've learned and that opportunity to consolidate all of your skills in a clinical environment. And then the second year is a really opportunity, a fellowship year, a development once you've got that foundation. We've got some key areas that we're focusing on: specialisation in maternity, in mental health services, in our operating theatres, in our cancer care teams. So, you know, there's a great chance to specialise in your second year, and even to do, I know, having just finished studying, the thought of doing more studying seems very daunting, but the opportunity to do postgraduate certificates in areas of specialty, and we support you through scholarships for those chances. So we, as Carmel said, we're a really large company. We've got over 70 hospitals across the country, and we don't do everything at every hospital, but we do everything across all of our hospitals. And so there's a lot of opportunity as well that we'd like to offer in that second year, your fellowship year, and ongoing, that if the area that you're interested in isn't offered in the hospital you're placed, we can rotate you to other services. You might want to do a regional term, like Tamworth Country Music Festival's on at the moment. Great opportunity if you live in the city. We can send you to Tamworth for 6 months and you can do a rotation there. So we really want you to feel part of the bigger Ramsay family, and those chances to rotate between hospitals, between specialties. And you know, as I said, if the hospital that you're placed in maybe doesn't do cancer care, but it's something you're interested in, then we can definitely look at that in your development year, in the second year around that. As Carmel said, the culture is very strong. We really are people caring for people. We have no doubt you will appreciate you're coming into a health system that's a little bit bruised and battered after COVID. There's a lot of people who are very tired and always looking forward to new staff coming in. We have a very strong culture of speaking up. We, you know, value the professional development, but also that professional accountability of all of our clinical staff. So if you come in and you want to, you think there's a way to do something better, to change something or to question something, we have a culture that we say, speak up, you know, to ask questions, that you are definitely supported in that, and we encourage you to do that, to be, you know, rapidly part of the team. The other things that we can do from a, yes, I would say awesome Tamworth. I know, because if any of you are from Tamworth, it's one of my favourite places to visit. So, you know, as I said, definitely the chance to rotate through. And we'd normally say interstate. It was a little bit hard during COVID. It's my first time back in Perth in 2 years. They've let us back in. So thank you to you people online from WA. But you know, now with the borders relaxed, we can, you know, certainly look at rotations across jurisdictions if that's required as well. So we want to really, you know, reinforce that clinical opportunity, specialisation. We've got pathways for nursing specialists into nurse practitioners. We've also got opportunities in management. We've got leadership development support. So if it's something that you want a career in management, I never thought I would want one, and I've ended up doing that. There's great pathways to develop our leaders and managers across the organisation as well. So very excited for you to come to Ramsay, and hope you will definitely choose those opportunities. It's a fantastic culture, as Carmel said. The, you know, caring for people, caring for our environment and our community. You know, we've recently made large donations to all of our staff who were affected and impacted by the floods in northern New South Wales and South Queensland. We provided funding for bushfire victims. So it's, you know, we are focused on excellence in patient care in our hospitals, but, you know, we are part of a much bigger community, and you know, which is a really nice place to be working. So happy if there's any questions specifically. I know you'll probably have a lot more. Yes, nursing research. Firstly, definitely, it's something that we're very focused on. We've got a Ramsay research group. We definitely you know, we do clinical trials, so broader research, but from a nursing research perspective, there's definitely those opportunities at ward and unit level. You would also have an opportunity, one as a researcher, or two, to participate in research that we currently have in place. And I do a chief nurse newsletter, and we're going to, the next focus is on research where there are, so we've got journal clubs at a start in wards and units, just to sort of get people's interest. I'm sure you've all, coming to the end of your degrees, will have done a lot of reading and, you know, overview of research papers. So we absolutely encourage that. We're really excited with publications, and there's a really big support network for nursing research and nursing research programs, and we've got affiliation with universities as well. So yeah, absolutely. Having done a research degree myself. Second year overseas, look, it's something that we would potentially think about. The problem at the moment is the reciprocal registration arrangements. So whilst you know, you have an opportunity to do that in the UK, we'd have to look at how that registration worked. But it's, yeah, not to say no, it's something that we haven't offered to date, but clearly the last few years we haven't been able to focus on any, you know, international travel, let alone any international placement. But it's definitely something that we can consider. We want you to have a, you know, a career, and some people will start in a hospital, love the hospital, and end up running the hospital. And, you know, you can spend your whole career there. But we have so many opportunities across the country and within different hospitals as well, that, you know, once you're in, it sounds a bit like the firm, doesn't it? Once you're in the Ramsay family, we want to keep you. We want you to have those opportunities moving forward. Let's see if there's any more questions for me there.
We might, if there is any more questions specific to you, Carmel and Bernie, I'm not sure if you're free to stay online, or we can feed them back to you to get answers when we send out the recording. And then we can get more into the program.
No, all good, Liz. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. And I'd just like to agree with the sentiments that you've said about, you know, we do work for a Ramsay family. It's so true. We feel like it's not just an organisation, but part of a family, and that flexibility of being able to travel around and be part of such a bigger healthcare community is always really great. And seeing COVID has been tough, hasn't it? But we've learned so much and been able to have accelerated growth in so many other areas and learn from it. And, you know, that's exciting too, what's ahead of us. Previous to the past couple of years, it's really exciting and coming into a great career at hopefully a great time now. Thank you for your time. And if you can stay online, great. If not, we totally understand as well. But we might move on now to talk about the actual program, because I've noticed some Q&As coming through about the actual fellowship program. I'd like to welcome Hannah Chilton and Julie Jackson as well on now to go through what the program actually looks like and what you'll receive, particularly within that first year, as well as what we call our foundation year. Thank you so much, Hannah and Julie, for joining us tonight and giving us more information. We'll watch the Q&A as well in the background should they have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to share my screen because in true educator style, we've got a PowerPoint. And I'm just going to share sound and optimize for video clips. So hopefully you can all see that first slide. Much of this will reiterate what Bernie and Carmel have just said. So I'll skip through just a little bit about Ramsay Healthcare's global network, which we've talked about. So as we said, we're throughout Australia, we're in Europe, and it really does give you that flexibility in the future to be able to move between areas and different specialities and different countries and see different cultures. As we've said, we're the largest operator of private hospitals in the country, lots of employees, as you can see there, and we've got 72 hospitals here in Australia. You've heard us talk a lot about the Ramsay Way, and rather than just say what it is, I'm just going to quickly show you this video, which is about a minute long, which really just encompasses what the Ramsay Way is all about, hopefully if it plays.
From humble beginnings, we've become one of the great Australian success stories. We're proud of our achievements and we want to continue to grow, innovate and lead the way in patient care. What's important is that we do so with the same Ramsay spirit, being the best at taking care of people. For us, care doesn't stop at the front door. It's ingrained in who we are and how we work. It's the Ramsay Way. That's something you can't teach or train. The Ramsay Way is all about relationships. It's always doing the right thing by the patient, and it's supporting and valuing each other. When you see our people, you see the passion they have for what they do. Caring really is our way of life. By continuing to celebrate the Ramsay Way, we'll preserve what has got us here today and lead the way for tomorrow.
So I think that kind of embodies what the Ramsay Way is and why so many of us stay here for so long. So if you are successful and become part of our Ramsay family, what actually is the programme. Oops, I've gone too far. I'm pinching Hannah's slides there. So the Graduate and Intern Fellowship Programme is for all the disciplines across nursing, midwifery, allied health and pharmacy interns. And we want to teach a broad range of skills across all the different settings, the acute settings, the general settings, outpatients, and within Ramsay we can provide all of that. As we've said, because the way the fellowship programme has been developed, we can offer graduates and interns more flexibility and more choices and more opportunities. And what I think is really important, that career progression, which is, again, it works. That's why we've all been here for so long. The fellowship programme has replaced the standard graduate and intern programmes within Ramsay. It is a 2-year graduate internship opportunity with a permanent ongoing employment within Ramsay. So we want to train you, provide you with that support, and then actually keep you and offer you, so that you've got a position at the end of it. And that will help with long-term recruitment and retention. And as already been mentioned, there's the opportunity where applicable for people to work between sites and different rotations in different specialities, mental health, theatres, different pharmacy settings, and also to see different hospitals, different states. So it's really quite individualised after that first year, which is what makes us unique and which is hopefully moving forward the gold standard for graduate programmes. I'm going to hand over to Hannah now.
Thanks, Julie. I might share my screen and continue on.
I'll stop sharing. Oh, stop share. There we go.
Okay. Can you all see that there? Yep. Wonderful. Okay. So, so thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Again, I just wanted to say it is wonderful to be presenting to our future graduates and our future workforce at Ramsay. It's very exciting for me. So I'm Hannah, I am the Victorian Fellowship Coordinator, and I'm just going to break down the program a little more for you all here. So the fellowship program, as Julie mentioned, is the 2-year program with the ongoing employment after you have completed that 2 years. So there's no need to sit another interview for a position you're already employed for already, which is really nice to have that job security at the end of your program. The fellowship program is broken into 2 parts. So we've got the foundation year, the first year, and the development year, that second year, which Bernie also touched on previously. So that first year is really that traditional graduate year where you transition your theory into practice, and everything that you've learned during those years of essay writing and assignments and placements and labs. And this is where you consolidate all those skills and you can apply them into your clinical environments. So this year is about finding your feet, settling into your chosen disciplines, and creating that foundation of skills that you can build on throughout your development year. So you complete 5 mandatory national study days online called the Growth Series with myself and the other state graduate coordinators who are here tonight. And you will then go on to be supported at site level with graduate coordinators, educators, clinical facilitators, clinical preceptors, and then staff within your units. You'll have a site orientation, a unit orientation, and supernumerary time, which is all built into your program, which helps you really settle in and find your feet in those first few months. But there's also regular check-ins and scheduled catch-ups with your graduate coordinators and education team to ensure that you're feeling really supported, and also to allow that time to debrief in that first and second year. There is a professional development project that you'll complete as part of your foundation year of the fellowship program. And I know that everyone gets a little bit nervous when we talk about this, but it's a short educational piece that you can share with your colleagues on a topic that you're passionate about towards the end of your first year. So going on to the second year, that development year, and this is a really exciting year. So you've spent the last year consolidating and finding your feet, and now it's time to develop your clinical skills and take that next step as a healthcare professional. So towards the end of your foundation year, your first year, you can sit down with your education staff and your graduate coordinators and discuss options that suit you for that development year. So it's about what direction you'd like to take your career within Ramsay. So we've got lots of different options available that Bernie touched on before. We've got this Ramsay scholarships, we've got opportunities to take on supported postgraduate studies, opportunities to upskill and specialise as clinicians, novice programs, fundamentals, specialty programs, department and site rotations, preceptorship programs, young leaders programs. I could go on all night, but it's all about what you have, your vision for that second year and how that's going to help you create that dream path, that dream career path, I guess, within Ramsay. So applying for your graduate program with Ramsay, your fellowship program, and I think we may touch on this a little bit, Sam might touch on this coming up, but just so you know, when you head to our careers page, what you need to have with you, you need to have your cover letter, your resume, if you've been on placement with us, you might have a Ramsay referral letter from your clinical placement, and you need to have some formal feedback from your clinical placements, like a placement report or a summative assessment or reviews or letters of recommendation as well. So have them all prepared. As you can see, applications for our mid-year intake are currently open, which is really exciting. Applications will close around Monday, the 2nd of May, and then we will conduct some group interviews, which will be held by educators from a collection of sites, which are called hubs. So these are conducted virtually via Zoom with a group of other graduates online. So it's a little bit less, it's a bit more comfortable, I guess, having a group of you to answer questions together. It's a very relaxed environment, and I know it can be really overwhelming and nerve-wracking jumping into those interviews, but just know we've all been in this position before, so try and tell yourself that before you jump online with us, because we've been there before. We know how nervous you can be. After your group interview, we will then conduct one-on-one interviews with your site, and offers will be made from the 30th of May. So this intake will commence around the middle of August, but exact starting dates are very site specific, as are specialty streams and potential rotations as well. So I won't touch too much on this because you're going to jump into your breakout rooms a little later on. And this might be a good opportunity for you to talk to your state educators about this, your state fellowship coordinators. But we do pride ourselves on a range of specialty streams within our fellowship programs as well. So if you'd like to be kept up to date, you can register interest using the QR code on the screen. So you can take a screenshot of this if you'd like, register your details, and we will send you out information on upcoming opportunities. But as I said before, and I think Sam's going to confirm again coming up, head to our Ramsay careers page and have a look there as well. So congratulations everyone here tonight. You're very close to taking that next step. And I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody during our fellowship study days coming up in the next graduate intake. So I might jump back to you, Liz, if that's okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Hannah and Julie. There's a lot of really good information, and it's you know, a lot to take in. So thank you for that brief rundown. We really appreciate it. So we've met a lot of our team now, and the team answering the questions are educators and state-based coordinators as well. But I would also like to acknowledge in the background, we've also got Eileen and Kirsty, who are our admin support that do a lot of our admin for our graduate program. So you'll definitely see their names a lot more if you are successful on our and gaining a position with us. And the other person that you'll probably hear a lot more from in the lead up to applying, and if you're also successful, is Samrana, who's part of our talent acquisition team in the HR department and is in charge of helping coordinate all the applications and knows all about the processes associated with that. So Sam, can I hand over to you now just to have a quick chat about the requirements in the lead up to applying for a position with our organisation. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Liz, and thank you everyone for being here today. I'm Samrana, and I will be just running very briefly through the recruitment process. And thanks to Hannah, she has really covered a lot of those areas. So I'll try to keep it brief. And just to reiterate what she has already mentioned, the application process timeframe. Like at the moment, the application for August 2022 intake is open, and it will be closing on the 2nd of May at 11:55 p.m. And once the application closes, then we would be moving on to the shortlisting. So within the shortlisting stage, that's where the group interviews will be taking place. So as Hannah has already mentioned, that the group interviews will really depend on the hospitals, and they would either be conducted over Zoom or Teams, and or also in person, ensuring it's all COVID compliant. And just really ensuring that when you do submit your application, if you are applying to the August 2022 intake or for Feb 2023 intake, you have your updated resume and your cover letter really addressing the positions that you're looking to apply for. The third stage will really be after the group interview. If the applicants are successful in the group interview stage, they will be moving on to complete reference checks, and will also be invited to the one-on-one interviews. So the reference checks will be conducted online as well via XREF system. And the one-on-one interviews will be conducted obviously at the hospital level, and that will also be either on Zoom or in person, really depending on the hospitals across the facilities. Apart from that, once the reference checks are completed and the one-on-one interviews are completed, the successful applicants from there will really be just moving on to the offer stage, which is the most exciting part. So at the offer stage, it's really just about completing the pre-employment checks for the successful applicants, and that's when the contracts will start being issued as well. So not going too much into depth, because the successful applicants will obviously be emailed with all the specific instructions for the pre-employment checks documents, but really just to touch base on some of the most important documents that we will definitely require are such as like your right to work documents, like your passport, whether it's an Australian passport or if you're an international student, we will require your confirmation of enrollment, as well as your immigrant notice, or if you are an Australian citizen, it could be your birth certificate and your driver's license. We will require a blue card, which is your working with children check, but it has to be for the paid work. So if you are planning to apply for any of those intakes, just ensure that you have your paid working with children check application in process, or you have received that, because the volunteer work will not be acceptable. And really just the APRA registration, of course, towards the end of your graduation, obviously, there is a bit of time to receive your APRA rego. So prior to your starts for whichever the intakes that you apply for, you will require your APRA registration and all of those, or that document to ensure that you can start on time. But our hospitals are really supportive and will be able to accommodate with any of your if there's a delay, say for example, with your APRA rego, you will always be in touch with us, and we'll be in touch with you to ensure that you receive that full support from us throughout the application process, and we'll be continuously in touch with all of our applicants throughout the processes. And tentatively, we do have those application timeframe on the website, which is from the 9th of May to the 27th of May. And we'll try to start issuing the offers from the 30th of May onwards. This is our tentative date. So we'll try to keep it to those dates as much as possible. And yeah, so once the contracts are issued, then yeah, you will be starting sometime in August, and really depends on the hospital on which dates you'll be starting on. That's pretty much most of the information, and you'll all find this information on the Ramsay Careers website. And if you do have any questions, just reach out to grad recruitment at ramsayhealth.com.au, and our team will be in touch with you within 24 to 48 hours to respond to any of your queries. And I think just keeping the time in mind, I'll just hand over to Liz now. Thank you.
Samrana, I really appreciate your time. And Samrana is going to kindly stay in this main room if you've got any more HR related questions. She'll be available to stay online and answer those. But what we're going to do now is invite everyone else, if they don't have any HR specific questions right now, is to join one of our breakout rooms. We have a few breakout rooms now, and I know Phil just put it into the chat bar. If everyone clicks on that link and chooses a room that pertains to them, there'll either be a Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, WA/South Australian nurses and midwives room, or an allied health specific room, along with a pharmacy intern breakout room. So the only reason to stay on this line now is if you have any specific questions relating to the HR application process. But if you want to know more about the specific hospitals or facilities in your state or in your specific discipline, please click on the link and we'll see you in the breakout room. Thanks so much, Samrana. We'll see you a bit later. Thanks for staying in this room.